Welcome back to this week's edition of the Risk Spotlight Operational Risk News Update. My name is Emily Jones, and today I'll be bringing you essential updates and insights from the world of operational risk, drawn from the past week. All information shared here is sourced from the Risk Spotlight portal, the premier forward-looking service dedicated to operational risk content. Let's get started. The first update is on KPMG's review of cyber resilience stress test questionnaires of 17 European banks. These questionnaires are part of the ongoing exercise by European Central Bank to gauge how effectively European banking is protected against cyber attacks. The results are expected to be announced in July. KPMG review revealed that only 24% of the sample could meet their own specified recovery time requirements in practice. There was a heavy dependence on third-party service providers running core banking systems. Many lacked proper end-to-end testing processes. Centralized inventories of processes and assets were lacking, and there were no established methods to quantify potential damages from an attack. While the maturity of cybersecurity requirements was good, the actual implementation left a lot to be desired. The exercise provided a preview of the new Digital Operational Resilience Act, or DORA, that kicks in from January 2025. Meeting DORA's cybersecurity mandates could help address the gaps identified in the stress test. KPMG recommends banks start performing end-to-end scenario testing, develop damage quantification models, clearly define roles across business units and vendors, and manage third-party service providers with stricter cyber resilience requirements. The stress test marked an important milestone as regulators ramp up scrutiny on banks' cyber preparedness in the face of growing threats. Leveraging the lessons from this exercise could go a long way in getting banks ready for DORA and future crisis simulations from supervisors. The next update is from Checkpoint Software Technologies' 2024 Cloud Security Report. The report revealed a significant surge in cloud security incidents, with a 154% increase from 24% in 2023 to 61% in 2024. This alarming rise underscores the growing complexity and frequency of cloud threats, as well as the sophistication of cyber criminals. The report highlights that a mere 21% of organizations emphasize prevention, despite the rapid technological advancements and deployment of new codes and applications in the cloud. The survey, which involved 813 cybersecurity experts from various regions, shows that 96% of respondents are concerned about their ability to manage emerging cloud risks, including sophisticated cyber threats like zero-day attacks. In response, 91% of organizations are now prioritizing artificial intelligence, AI, to enhance their defense mechanisms, shifting from reactive to proactive threat prevention strategies. The next update covers a significant move to bolster the resilience of American community banks against the evolving risks presented by third-party relationships. The Federal Reserve, FDIC, and OCC have jointly released the Third-Party Risk Management, a guide for community banks. This comprehensive guide serves as a beacon for community banks, aiming to enhance their third-party risk management programs, policies, and practices. The guide acknowledges the strategic importance of third-party collaborations for community banks, offering them access to a plethora of resources such as new technologies, risk management tools, and market opportunities. However, it also casts a spotlight on the inherent risks these partnerships can introduce, including operational, compliance, financial, and strategic risks. Banks are reminded of their ultimate accountability for all activities, even those performed by third parties, in compliance with applicable laws and regulations. This underscores the guide's emphasis on governance practices, highlighting the crucial roles of oversight, accountability, and documentation in ensuring regulatory compliance and safeguarding both banks and their customers' interests. Diving deeper, the guide outlines a 5-stage life cycle for managing third-party risks, encompassing planning, due diligence, and third-party selection, contract negotiation, ongoing monitoring, and termination. It stresses the importance of comprehensive initial risk assessments tailored to third-party activities, especially those involving sensitive customer data or transaction processing. Moreover, the guide advocates for a tailored approach to risk management, urging banks to adapt their practices based on their size, complexity, and risk profile. This proactive and nuanced approach to third-party risk management is poised to empower community banks to navigate the complexities of modern financial ecosystems more effectively, ensuring a safer and more competitive future. The next update highlights increased regulatory focus on risks related to the Internet of Things or IoT devices. In 2022, NIST published recommendations for improving IoT security. This was followed by voluntary regulatory schemes like the FCC's Cyber Trust Mark in the US and the draft European Cyber Resilience Act, which will introduce new cybersecurity requirements for selling devices in the EU market starting in 2025. The emerging regulations and industry standards have some common key themes. 1. Secure configuration with authenticated changes, unique passwords, and factory reset functions. 2. Data protection through encryption for stored and transmitted data. 3. Vulnerability management by identifying, disclosing, and mitigating known vulnerabilities. 4. Device monitoring to log and report security events. 5. Software update mechanisms to patch security issues. Complying with these requirements will be a major challenge for IoT manufacturers. For example, a recent survey found only 1/3 of embedded software projects had remote firmware update capability, which is a basic requirement. To meet the new regulations, IoT makers will need to invest in security features like over-the-air software updates, firmware signing, observability for monitoring, static code analysis to catch bugs early, and software bills of materials to track third-party dependencies. The next update is on UK government introducing a new set of identity assurance principles aimed at enhancing transparency and protecting individual rights within its digital identity services. This initiative is part of the broader efforts to build trust and ensure the ethical use of technology in public services. The principles focus on several key areas, including user control over personal data, minimal data usage necessary for services, and the inclusion of independent oversight by the Information Commissioner's Office, ICO, to handle disputes and ensure compliance. The introduction of these principles is expected to lay a foundational framework that will guide the operation and expansion of digital identity services across various sectors. This move is also seen as a step towards aligning with global best practices in digital identity verification and management. The next update is on warning by banking industry in Ireland, but is also very relevant globally. The warning especially focuses on those over 50 about a new type of scam called recovery scams. These scams target individuals who have previously fallen victim to investment fraud. The scammers, often using the names and branding of well-known banks and investment firms, contact the victims and promise to recover their lost money. However, they demand an upfront retainer or processing fee. The recovery scam sometimes comes from the same criminals behind the original investment scam, or the victim's personal information has been shared or sold to other criminals. The scammers use the details from the previous scam to sound credible. In some cases, the criminals have managed to extract between €1,000 to €10,000 from the victims. They use deceptive and elaborate techniques, including creating fake social media profiles of real employees or agents from investment firms. Shockingly, almost €60 million was stolen from Irish victims of investment fraud in the past 4 years. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission in the U.S. recently released new guidance on workplace harassment that may soon cascade to countries globally. This is the first update since 1999. This 189-page document aims to provide examples to help employers and employees navigate harassment issues involving newer protected classes like sexual orientation and gender identity. It includes over 70 examples covering scenarios like harassment in remote work setups and harassment from third parties like customers or vendors. And there you have it, a whirlwind tour of last week's operational risk landscape. If you want to read more about the topics I have covered and review additional content on emerging operational risk topics, then please log into the RiskSpotlight portal if you're a subscriber, or go to RiskSpotlight.com to sign up for a free trial. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay safe and keep those risks in check.